Folks, welcome to another edition of the Late Night on Campus. I'll be your host tonight. Again, Donnie Rightside, here with my partner in crime at Jeff Nadeau on Twitter, otherwise known as the Big Man on Campus. Got a lot to go over tonight. Going to take it nice and easy. No time frame for us to work with, Jeff, is what I really like a lot. How's it going tonight, Big Man?
Doing well. How you doing tonight?
Hey, man, cannot complain. A lot of topics to go over. And again, we can mix in sports and some general knowledge type of information tonight. Let's have a good time, man.
Yeah, we always do. It's always fun to interact with the listeners. We got a lot going on in the world, a lot going on in sports. So, yeah, it's always fun doing this. It's a fun live show. I urge everyone, listen to this show live. Makes it a lot better. But nonetheless, yeah, it should always be fun as always.
Yeah, no, let's dip right into it. A couple things. And again, we're going to end the topic, as always, with the hashtag LNOC, Baffle the Big Man. Also going to hit some topics of interest. We'll touch on the flight attendants or the flight situation there with United. Of course, we'll get into a little bit of Dave, Bliss, and Baylor due to that documentary that came out. Just absolutely eye-opening. We'll also talk a little bit about the Dortmund game and why that got postponed. But, Big Man, recapping the day, I know you gave out a soccer play today early on. Called it, nailed it right on the head. A clean sheet, as I'm getting used to the terminology there, with soccer, 3-0 with Juventus. Talk about that game, what you saw, and how it really went according to plan.
Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, if you were a Juventus fan, a backer, it was perfect. It was a fantastically played game by Juventus. Everything was correct. The goals, the defense is fantastic. Goalkeeping was great. Crowd was amazing. Great home side nonetheless. Yeah, no, it really, everything aligned. Barcelona's a mess right now. They really are. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. As far as one quick thing, with Jeremy Matu in the lineup, they will not win games. He does not belong on Barcelona. I don't know how he made this team. He knows he doesn't belong. He looks out of place. He's slow. He's just not very good. And with him starting continuously, I just don't get it. And now Barcelona's in a world of hurt. We can all say, well, they might come back, but I got to tell you, they're not coming back against Juventus, the best defense in the world. They have a large hill to climb. And, yes, the clean sheet was great today. I actually hit that in the second half. Barcelona under a half a goal, 135 came back, that hit also. So, yeah, a nice day. It would have been nice to have played in the Dortmund game, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll go over some baseball, obviously some action going on now. We'll also touch on some NBA action tomorrow on the sports roundtable that we have here at SBR. We're going to get into everything as well, some baseball action, some hockey talk, NBA as well, setting up the playoffs in both of those sports. But tonight, it's about what happened today. Taking a look early on, Big Man, we talked about it earlier on the right side of campus with the Carrasco-Shields game. Couldn't quite understand why that game was tipping the scales at almost minus 300. Went into extra innings, a complete sweat if you did have the heavy favor in that one. 2-1 final there. Shields, 2 good starts to start the season. Some comforting thoughts there for Chicago White Sox. Don't know how good they're going to be the rest of the year, but certainly opening up with one of your pitchers starting well, who has been struggling the past couple years. But again, Jeff, talk about early season, huge favorites there. We were scratching our head why the line was actually that high, and it played out that way as well.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be doing it. I don't know why people are doing that. I mean, it makes zero sense as far as laying that kind of number. And, it's interesting, Donnie, I'd love to go back and look on favorites at 250 or higher, the amount of run lines that do not come in. It seems like every time you have a big favorite like this, they only win. They win by 1, and that's usually it. It always seems like they kind of screw you both ways because they know most people won't take the 250. And if they do, it'll be tied up in a parlay, so it'll probably lose anyway. Most people are going to lay that 1.5 just thinking, oh, this is going to be a 7-1 blowout. I'm going to be good to go, blah, 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 blah. And, look, if you laid the 1.5, you were pretty much you weren't going to hit that. That really didn't have much shot all day. I mean, that was a close game the whole way through. Really no sort of separation for anyone. And you know what? Serves you right. You shouldn't be laying those kind of numbers on run lines anyway. Definitely, if you had Cleveland tied up in some kind of parlay, you hit, but you're not going to make a lot of money doing that on a consistent basis.
Yep. And my daily rant, which again, it's nice, Jeff, when we're on a couple times, like we have the right side of campus and the late night of campus to close the night. My daily fade material on our AAA Philadelphia Phillies. Once again, we're going to preface it again and say, if you're a smart gambler out there, every single day, the Phillies pick up a baseball, fade that team. Another 2 runs tacked on as well. It's now 12-2 in the top of the 8th inning with those AAA fighting Phil. So if you heard the show earlier, just railing. If you heard yesterday's show, if you heard 5 shows previous before that, I will rail on the Phillies every single day because I honestly don't think they even have a chance to win games. I mean, obviously they're going to win 60 to 70 games, whatever it comes out to. But what an auto fade type of ball club. It's going to be that way all year long, big man.
Yeah, Colt is fade material, just like most of the Phillies pitchers. This team's bad. I thought they were this year worse than they were last year. They really have no one in that lineup that you're concerned with at all. 3 home runs. How about that? That's obviously why they signed him. And look, Buck Colts, 2 1/3, 8 hits, 6 earned runs. Listen, when Adam Morgan is your long man, you have some problems. The Phillies are horrible because they don't, they're trying to be rebuilding, but they don't really have anyone to build around. That's the problem. They don't really have anyone that you look at and say he's going to be a star someday. Do you see that from this team?
I mean, I don't mind any team pushing the reset button. In the NBA, the rules technically are stacked against you.
But they don't have anyone to get better with. I don't see a lot of people.
Well, they're stacked in AAA. Like I said, their AAA team will beat the Major League team because they're cheap. I've never a big market team, a top 5 market that's out here, operating as if they have no money or they play like in some outlandish port where they're like the 92 ranked city. But the fact that you never start the clock, it's an MO. I don't care that Middleton's in charge now and he has all the money. It's the same MO from when Dave Montgomery got the club from Ruley Carpenter back in the early 80s. They don't want to bring anybody up. They don't want to spend any money. And my whole theory going against that is people say, well, it's not smart. Why would you bring kids up and start their clock? If you start the clock and they're good, a la Mike Trout, Chris Bryant, you're going to pay them and you'll be happy to pay them. If you bring them up and they suck, sooner than later that they suck and you don't have to pay them. It's one thing that I'll never agree on with the Phillies. Again, you have 2 24-year-old players at AAA, Jeff, 40 bombs and 38 bombs. Ooh, they need more seasoning down there. Do they have to hit 80 bombs apiece? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, they're all screwed up. And, it's kind of if you're a Phillies fan, I want to say to you, I kind of feel bad because you shouldn't have to see them just be nice and give someone a roster spot just because they want to be nice. There are people down in AAA that are better than Brock Stassi. They should bring them up as opposed to you're not able in this. It's like the Eagles for years. They were wasting roster spots with Tim Tebow. They were trying to do that whole nightmare. They are not in the position to waste roster spots. It shouldn't be happening. And then with the Phillies, it's the same situation. Just bad players that really don't have any business being up. Are up, and you're taking away from the greater good, which is getting better long term. And no offense, but Adam Morgan just sucks. He's not going to get better anytime soon.
No, it's almost a catch-22 for the team because obviously you have to draft well and you have to have a good farm system. If St. Louis, if anybody could just buy their minor league system combined and just transport it for themselves, you would have something in play there because they teach the kids the right way from 17 and 18-year-old when they're drafted. The Phillies have been notorious for not being able to develop damn near anybody. I know Chase Utley came up through there. You brought Ryan Howard up when he was 64 years old, and you cheated him out of 3 to 4 years because he was being quote-unquote blocked by Jim Thome. Just a mess of an organization. They're making the same repeated steps over and over again. They just won't bring the kids up. And again, they've been tanking with no salary cap, Jeff, for 5 full years. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's the domino effect. It just keeps going.
Yeah, let's get into some other games here just to get you caught up on the board tonight. Rookie Davis with a nice outing. Tyone's pitching well, also 2-1 in that game. Gio Gonzalez closes out. And I don't know. Again, it's early. You don't want to press the panic button, but St. Louis, Jeff, is just not showing much at all this year yet.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I thought you might see something a little bit from them tonight just because, listen, I don't really Gio Gonzalez is a guy that I'm not really high on or anything, but, yeah, I mean, they have issues right now. They're not their lineup's not great, which I think we've talked about, you and I, and, on the road, they're just really average. So, yeah, they're not going to win that division. They have They have to get better. They're just, I mean, Matt Carpenter didn't play tonight. That hurt. Yeah, I mean, they have issues, and not someone that I'm really long-term looking to back.
Yeah, other games out there, fast Willie Peralta, 4-3 lead over Toronto in the 7th inning. Drew Pomeranz and the Boston Red Sox woke up a little bit, 7-1 over the Baltimore Orioles. Miami's up 8-4 over Atlanta. And again, Coors Field, Jeff, maybe they had the humidors really cranked up this year because we got a 2-2 ball game with one power pitcher that we all called today, Jared Weaver. Who would have thought that game and Jared Weaver only giving up 2 runs in that ball game?
Yeah, I mean that's the amazement of baseball, really. I mean, if you told me Jarrett Weaver would be through 6 innings and have given up 2 earned runs in Coors, I would have told you you're fucking crazy. It's overs have had no shot in Coors, none. I mean, zero. I mean, you look at tonight, you thought, maybe this was a good spot for an over to come in, but it hasn't been such, and it has no shot.
Decent ball weather out there. I mean, you're looking at the game, at game time, mid-60s. You got a little bit of wind blowing out. Again, they're just optimum conditions, which we've seen quite a few times in Colorado, but just not able to wake up and pound that baseball out of there yet.
Yeah, Detroit, they have been very tough during the day. It seems like they never lose during the day. It's pretty crazy. I mean, the Twins really had nothing going. It's interesting, Donnie, as far as some of these day games, the lack of offense you've seen. I mean, yesterday with Kansas City, today with Minnesota, they had 5 hits, but they only had 2 hits through 8 innings. 3 of their hits were in the 9th inning. It's been tough to beat the Tigers during the day. That has been something long-term that's been very tough to do. They've been great in day baseball.
Bullpen, again, you even up 2-0. The Minnesota really wasn't threatening all day long, and there you are in the 9th inning in a 2-1 ball game all of a sudden with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs. They do hang on and get the cover there, which was a deserved cover for Detroit. But again, in baseball, man, there's no clock. There's no shot clock. There's no, stall the clock heading down to 0. You got to get all 27 outs. And, man, they make you sweat sometime in Major League Baseball. But that's just what it's about.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. And, the Twins, are playing well, but – you got to give your pitcher some run support. And, they gave him today. Santiago got no run support. He pitched really well, but you got to be able to score runs and pitch well. That's kind of the goal with baseball. So, Tigers are a team that I think long-term. And that's the good thing about April baseball. You learn a lot. You learn about things that, can set you up kind of for the season. And one of those that I would write down in the things that I write down in staying away from betting them against them during the day.
Yeah, no, I mean, a complete day of baseball. Again, we'll be breaking it all down tomorrow as well. Some games that are just getting underway now. Texas and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, again with Cole Hamels and Tyler Skaggs in that one. 1-0. Houston on the board in the top of the first over the Seattle Mariners. So that's also one to check in as well. A couple of these other games are going to be playing out and getting down here. So it looks like maybe another delay also with Pittsburgh. I know that game, I believe, started late as well. And also another run by the New York Mets to make it a nice 13-2 ball game against my Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, the Houston game, home run, first batter, George Springer, bangs.
How many is that for him, man? Wow.
I'm not exactly.
Another one. Man. I think he's led off 3 or 4 games already with the home run, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got 4 home runs. 8 RBI. Yeah. So, he's kind of one of the Astros that has played really well. How about Boston, Donnie? Nice. Looks like coming home helped them offensively. And look, I mean, I mentioned the under earlier. That one has problems. I mean, it's 9 right now. The over-runner's 9.5. Got to get out of this little jam that the bullpen is in for the and you look at the bullpen for the Orioles, not one of their finer nights. They've given up 7 runs.
Man, how about that? Yeah, so we're praising them. I mean, they'll get it together in that, but just one of those early season funks on that one. Big man, taking it over a little bit to the NBA tonight, talking some association. An interesting game tonight, the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I believe rested Russell Westbrook. Is that correct, big man?
Yes.
Yep. Now that line ballooned up, but the thing that makes me laugh about this game is Minnesota is in tank mode. Did anybody out there on the chat board take the Minnesota Timberwolves knowing that they do not want to win this ball game and are laying 8 points?
But the thing is, Donnie, I think we're all well aware that, Oklahoma City's just not good without Russell Westbrook. They're poor actually without Russell Westbrook.
But they still have, NBA players, and you have strict marching orders on the other side that says we don't want to win.
But here's the problem, Donnie. You have starters playing second level player. You have to understand, without Russell Westbrook, they're probably a lottery team. You look at their starting five tonight: Sabonis, Kyle Singler, Steven Adams, Samaje Christian, and Oladipo. You look at the Timberwolves: Gorgie Zhang, Wiggins, Towns, Rubio, Brandon Rush. That's a way better starting five to me than what the Oklahoma City Thunder are trotting out there. But yeah, look, I hear you. At the end of the day, though, we got to remember these are professionals. Yeah, Minnesota, 44 seconds left, up one.
Come on, Minnesota, let's go.
Yeah, this is kind of the thing about the NBA where, just because they should probably win doesn't mean they will. These are professionals. It'd be nice to see Minnesota win here.
Yeah, need them to win, because then I'll just look at it from a Philadelphia perspective there, because you want the Knicks to be able to win tomorrow night.
How about that? A premium capper on SBR send Mark T Wolves tonight as a pick. Wow.
I hope he got the early. What was the early line, like 2 or 2.5? I know the closing line was way up there.
And I'm sure he did. I'm sure he got 1.5 or something. Because if we forget, it was 2 basically until 6 o'clock last night. So if he sent you 2,
from last night, is that so? I want to see him claim that one on soft open.
So
whoever that
again,
was.
if he sent you out 2 today, he's fucking lying. It was an early line. Oh, sure, of course it was. Not a surprise. No overtime. Need Thunder to cover the 8. I think you're going to be good there with that, barring overtime.
Even with overtime, I know dogs go to die in overtime, but that would be a stiff beat there for you on that. Later on tonight, those tanking Los Angeles Lakers, which helped out the Sixers with a late 3 in their last ball game to pull a miracle win out when nobody in the city of Los Angeles wanted that to happen, but it was very good there. And then another tank fest game tonight, the Phoenix Suns and the Sacramento Kings. It doesn't get any better here for the NBA, the way they're going to end the night tonight, and especially tomorrow when, again, if some of these numbers hold true tonight and the Knicks don't need the win, it is going to be amazing to watch the Sixers and the Knicks go out there and probably just punt the ball into the stands the entire time, knowing that neither one of these teams can win that ball game.
Yeah, but I think both teams, the Sixers have been playing like this for months. They've been.
No, they can't. They literally, Jeff, if I was the owner of the Sixers, Brett Brown would be gone. My GM would be gone. Every single scout, everybody in my organization would be gone.
You still have to win the.
No, you don't. You cannot win tomorrow if you're the Sixers. You can't go past Orlando. There's millions of dollars. There's monster draft picks at stake. There are marching orders on that team, which is why Dario Saric already has a minute restriction. Don't be surprised tomorrow if out of nowhere McConnell has some ankle injury. He can't play, and Saric is just going to sit it out. They can't win that game.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. I'm just saying, the Knicks are the same.
No, the Knicks are. That's the problem. Like, both teams have orders to not win the game. It's going to be an interesting one to see what actually happens tomorrow.
Yes, I do need the Warriors to beat the Lakers tomorrow night.
Yeah, what's up with that, big man? I saw that last night. What happened to Golden State?
Well, no one played in the fourth quarter. It was all backups in the fourth quarter. No one was in. Curry was out. Klay Thompson was out. By the way, in that Suns game, no Devin Booker, Eric Bledsoe. Kings at home should be a pretty good play. They're not really resting anyone, so they're just going to be playing with their normal team, which we know isn't very good anyway. But the NBA right now is a fickle business. You look at, for instance, for me, I would have looked at Hornets Hawks, and I would have played the over in that game. That one didn't come anywhere close. Sharps bet the under, public bet the under, and the under was an easy winner. A little update in Minnesota. That game is tied with 43 seconds left. Donnie, back to baseball quickly.
Yes.
Update in Boston. That one's going to the 9th. We get Joe Kelly in to close it out. Hopefully he can close it out, and that'll look good for me if we're at under. How about that? A little respect, Donnie. The Miami Marlins. We mentioned today on the right side of campus, how about the team total over for the Miami Marlins hitting the 3rd inning? And as expected, Bartolo Colon gets ravaged by the Marlins.
Yeah, no, I mean, you get what you get with Bartolo. When he's on, it's smoke and mirrors with that fastball. But when he's off, which he clearly was off right from the jump, Marlins jumped right on him. We talked about it on the show. I know that you love that play. Even after we got off the phone, I was talking with you and you just said, Jeff, that is a nice play right there. I know you sent it out to your clients there, but that one was as easy as it gets. It's nice to get those ones cleared and out of the way early and not have to worry about them. That was a nice pick.
Yeah, it really it was just something that, as far as looking at it, I mean, everyone was hitting Cologne well. It was the opening day down in Miami. And it started early. I mean, they had 3 runs in the first inning, which was always a nice one. But it was a good win, and it's nice to get a win under my belt because baseball's been tough to start.
It's a fickle beast on that one.
It is. Let's step over to the chat box here. Where are we at here? Knicks marching orders louder than Sixers. Yeah, I think both of them will be gunning to lose. Anyone ever get into the Vegas Super Contest? Yeah, I played in it not last year, year before. I had a pretty good start, like first 7 weeks, and then it got really tough. It's tough, that Super Contest.
5 picks a week, man. 5 picks a week.
In the first 6 weeks, I was sitting top 20, Donnie. I don't know if I ever told you that, but
Ooh.
I mean, it's a long season. But where are we going next, Donnie? You want to see what happens to this Minnesota game here? Looks like the Thunder
take the lead, which is bad for which is going to put them right back in that order for.
I'm going to call it Brandon Rush. I'm going to go Wiggins 3-ball to win it.
Wiggins 3-ball to win it, and all touts gave out money line Timberwolves if that happens.
Of course.
Is that game on TV?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just watching on the update ticker there. Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Jeff, I know Tony Romo is on the bench on this. Is he allowed to technically play in this game if they put him in? Would the NBA allow that? They can't allow that, can they?
I mean, he's not in the score log, so I don't.
I just think it was like showing him respect, sit on the bench, get him a uniform. It's a pretty cool thing as it is, to send them off. But I don't even think he can't be, because NBA teams will start taking that to the extreme. And next thing you know, you'd see 50 Cent out there and, rappers out there, and it can't happen. I don't think he's even allowed to play.
I mean, here's the question I have, and I want a straight answer. If, let's say, he was able to play in this game, which I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah. Dog Raymond says no, he's not allowed to play.
Okay, let's say he did. What would be the line for him to not only get in but score a basket?
He's a pretty athletic dude, though. So you imagine if they put him in with 5 to go. I doubt the other team, because the game doesn't mean much anyway. He's going to be press defense on him and hip checking him. They probably would let him get some open looks. He probably would score. I would agree. I
mean, what would the line be though?
For him to score, it'd probably still be like minus 125, wouldn't it?
To score?
Yeah. If he's going to get in a meaningless game, why would he score? If they left you open in an NBA game and you shot 5 shots from 10 feet, you wouldn't score?
But you have to realize he would probably not get in very long, maybe a minute or two. Listen, Donnie, not for nothing. If it was me, I would list it pretty high. I mean, it's difficult to score.
If he was allowed to play, he would score in that game. 100%. They would set him up. Jeff, every time down the court, they would run a play literally where he would just get to take an open jump shot, and the other team wouldn't be pressing him on it. They'd be like, oh, man, let him get his. Look, it's an honor to play with Romo in the game.
Maybe you're right.
He's a good athlete, though. He's not some just old timer. He could probably, shoot the rock a little bit.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, that's actually a decent point. I'm saying, though, it would not be 125. I think it'd be a little bit steeper than that. Plus 3. That's what I would say, plus 450 maybe.
I'll take that wager and love it, because they would let that bad boy score. Same thing when they let these clowns in college that get in. Once the coach's son, they set him up to shoot 15 times in the last.
Plus,
minute.
It's the last game of the season. I mean, who?
Yeah, no, it means nothing, and the other team would just be good sports about it. You see it all the time. The kid broke his leg. Or what was the girl at UConn who tore her ACL? Was a point short. They let her get in a real game and threw it down there so she can lay it in and sit on the bench. I mean, they would do something for him.
Thunder get the win. That game is over in Minnesota.
Steam didn't work out too well in that game, Jeff.
When does it ever work out? We're tied in Pittsburgh 2-2. By the way, with Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Is it just me, or do they ever lead a game?
I
Seems
don't
like
know.
they're always down. Like every time I look at their scores, like they're down, and like they lay 140 every night, and it's like they're just not that good. I mean, maybe, but
That was one of the for a couple of years, man. I love. I mean, it's one. Since the Phillies have been down, you don't like to take an alternate type of team, but the
boom,
Phillies just.
Hunter comes in Boston, bang, bang, bang.
You have that bad boy?
Let's go. I had a personal planet. Let's go.
There you
Under
go. Look
9.5.
at that way. I see the red final. That's the way to cash in on that. Yeah, Pittsburgh. I mean, it was one of the teams I always root for. I always like McCutchen. I like Starling Marte. I just like the way that team was built. The playoff run they had, it was fun. But yeah, it looks like they're sort of down at the end of that line right now, big man.
Let's take our attention to Coors Field. Nolan Arenado, a solo shot. 3-2 Rockies in the.
You have anything on that bad boy?
No, I don't.
No.
I'm just rooting it in, just because I don't know why. Mark Reynolds, though. By the way, Donnie, Mark Reynolds having a great start to the year. 10 RBIs. He leads the major leagues in that category, and just got on base with a walk. So
yeah, that guy's the epitome of all or nothing. I mean, he's either taking you deep and driving one into the gap, or he's getting sit down on 3 pitches.
Donnie, give me even money right now on a run line.
On what?
On the Rockies.
The Rockies. What's the score right now?
3-2.
What, a -1.5 run line?
Yeah, bottom 7.
It's got to be. I mean, now is anybody on base?
Yeah, Reynolds just got on.
Yeah, I would. If so, it's a -1.5. You still would get plus money on that. I would give you -120.
Yeah, I might just have to play that actually.
Sure.
So yeah, but yeah.
What's up, by the way, with that? I see CC saying he has the Pittsburgh team total over 4.5. Not looking too good right now. I have that game in delay. Is it bad weather? What inning actually did it get delayed in?
It got delayed early. It didn't.
I have it in delay right now. Is it still playing?
Yeah, it's top 7.
Check that game out.
As far as I can see here. I mean, it got delayed early. They didn't start early. They started I think 20 minutes late. I think something like that.
Yeah, they're out there. Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember we kind of talked about the team total in that game. Maybe Rookie Davis, but he pitched pretty well.
Top 7, nobody out, and looks like Cincinnati's a man on second. And
welcome in Robert Martin. What's up, man? How you doing? Thank you. By the way, Donnie, I saw on our comment section someone was saying about he can't always listen because the show's too long. Again, we've said it before, and I just want to say it again. We break down every game. We try to make it a point to break down every game, right, Donnie? And for us, the info's key. So, it might be a little long, but remember, we're going to try to give you the most information possible that we have in that. So, cut around, do what you got to do. Hey, Omari, how you doing? Big Man and Donnie, at the end, before you go, can you talk about what offshore books? Yeah, dude, honestly, that's illegal for me to tell you. I can't promote a book, but I would highly recommend just head over to SBR Forum and read the reviews. I don't really use offshore. I do have one, but that's really it. I have mostly locals.
Yeah, I've used 5. I mean, way back in the day, I was with Sportsbook before all that credit card nonsense went on there. But after I've been with 5 Dimes, had no problem with them for a decade. So
yeah. I like I said, I use mostly local books, but
me too. Well, 90% of my bets are local, obviously, but offshore, I have never had any bad experiences with 5 Dimes. So
yeah, don't promote, just recommend. Yeah, I would agree with what Donnie said, definitely.
Yeah, I would love to promote and get percentages like others do, but we can't do that in the United States. It is illegal, but I mean, I can recommend what you use. I can't. It's a shame I can't make any money off it though.
Yeah, I mean, Terrell, again, back to this. I mean, you're arguing every point we make. It is. I have a friend of mine that was arrested for that, so it is illegal. But let's move on here. What do we want to go to next, Donnie?
Yeah, what do we got? I mean, the best part about this show is like we're a half hour in, and it feels like we're just tipping the page on what we have. But Jeff, we have to get back to this. It's day 2. This is Armageddon in the airwaves here and on the airlines. Let me talk to you about this, Jeff. The flight, guy getting drug off the flight. Now you knew the worm is going to turn. Now it comes out 2004. Maybe you had some perks. Maybe you had some Xanax. Come by the office, I'll give you a little prescription, you give me a little bit of this, gets pinched for that. loses his medical license. So you knew it doesn't. And again, folks, it has nothing to do with getting beaten and taken off a plane, regardless of what happens. But everybody has a past, it seems like. And they dug that up, Jeff. What was it? Not even 24 hours, and they had that man already with all his, records from what he had in the past?
He lost his license to practice medicine in the state of Kentucky, which he was illegally prescribing prescription painkillers, oxycodone, basically the drugs that allow you to get addicted to opiates that push you to heroin. So basically, at the end of the day, he's getting people hooked on opiates. And at this point, most of them are probably heroin addicts at this point. He was doing that for gay sex.
No. Is this the story? I didn't hear this part.
No,
Go on.
He basically he had a particular patient of his that he was prescribing painkillers to. They would meet at a hotel and they would hook up.
It was a guy?
Yes. I've also heard, and again, this is also rumored, but I've also heard other stories that he would particularly take a lot of time with male patients during physicals and things like that. And it got really odd. Really interesting. Then not interesting in this, but interesting as far as what he did next.
Dog's saying that. Are you sure, Jeff, that it was with guys? I didn't see that at all.
I'll send you the link right now. It was put out by several different news outlets.
And he's married too? Oh, good grief, this guy.
Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. Man. Read and weep. So then he started playing poker, and he won $266,000 playing poker. And now he's trying to get a big payday. The funny thing is, Donnie, it's going to be tough to prove anything. I mean, what did he really? I mean, did they really do anything illegal? Honestly, I mean, they told him to get off the plane. He didn't do it, and they took matters in their own hands. It clearly states at the bottom of the ticket they have the ability to ask people to leave the flight. He didn't comply, and they used the force to extract him off the plane. What exactly did he do?
No, you're right about that instance. Which, again, it's because there's video and people have it. There's definitely context to it where it wasn't just sending the brute force, just go in and pick some random person, pick anybody on there and just yank him out of the seat. I mean, I'm sure there was a barter system that was taking place and again, it doesn't excuse a guy getting drug off the plane. It shouldn't happen for that. But when it comes down to somebody has to leave the plane, I'm sure they walked over, sir, you've been selected, please come with us. Exit the plane. They're going to take care with compensation. He probably said no for multiple times over multiple minutes. And you can't hold up a flight because it's a chain reaction across, that flight has to get to Kentucky. That plane, once it gets to Kentucky, has to go somewhere else. You have connectors that go across. People will miss their flights once they get wherever the flight was going. And you have to get off the plane.
And it clearly states at the bottom of every ticket, while morally it's probably not a nice idea, it clearly states they can overbook. And most airlines do it on purpose. So he really has no real case here. You can ask any aviation lawyer. They'll tell you the same thing. Donnie, I want to read you something here.
Yes.
According to documents filed with the Kentucky Board of Medical Licensure, Dow was arrested in 2003 on a drug-related offense in an undercover investigation. The board's probe into the criminal charges found Dow became sexually interested in a male patient, Brian Case, whom he gave a physical examination to, including a genital examination, whom he eventually made his office manager. Case quit his job due to inappropriate remarks made by Dow, who then pursued him and arranged to give him prescription drugs in exchange for sexual acts, according to the documents filed last year. So not only was it with a male, it was with someone that worked for him. And this guy was working with the cops to get him pinched. So
now here's a question for you on this one, big man. If you are a doctor, right? Yeah, graduated, got his PhD. He loses his license. Are you still a doctor?
I think they ban you for a certain amount of time.
No, but are you? I know you can't practice medicine, but are you still a doctor though?
I think you're still a doctor. You're not banned for good, but I don't think you're disbarred. I guess at that point you're not a doctor, but he wasn't practicing being a doctor for a while. I guess he's back. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think this guy's going to do much of anything as far as case wise. Sean, listen, I mean, we talked. I mean, why do we have to continue to tell people what the show's about? We're talking about other stuff. But yeah,
he'll get money though, because that's never going to go to court, and they'll settle out of court, and he'll get a confidentiality agreement signed away, and he'll be broke off with some money.
He'll make some money, but again, if you read into this sort of law, he really has no case here. He was told to get off the plane. He didn't get off the plane. And at this point, what are they supposed to do, Donnie? Honestly, what are these people, these cops or whoever there, what are they supposed to do? I'm going to ask again.
It's like a hostage situation where you got to barter with him for 4 hours and delay the entire airport. He should have just got off. It's a shame, and it's terrible that it happened. But I mean, when your numbers gets picked, get the compensation, you'll fly him the next day. But the one thing, again, which brings back to my point, where he said he's not leaving because he has patients to treat and he has to get home. Does he have a license? Like, does that come into play with it now? Or why would he throw that out there?
I mean, I would love to know what went on in this, like as far as inside. I'm going to go out and guess that they didn't just say, hey, you, get off the plane. He says no, and they rip him out of the seat.
Exactly.
I mean, again, was it clearly excessive? Sure. But there's a lot of people that are involved in excessive force. It happens all the time. Again, we'll see what happens. But then also, what does his past have to do with this situation? I'm not really.
No, it doesn't. It's just kind of interesting for that. Andrew B. Hey, Donnie and Big Man. I just got here, but I got a question for you. I've been keeping track of my MLB picks this year, but I do parlays often. So do you think I should still count my wins even if no, that's a loss. No. That's a loss.
If you do a parlay,
it's one wager.
No, by the way, stop doing parlays. That's no good. Even though I did one on Saturday. No, it's a loss. It's graded as a loss. I guess you could feel good about hitting 2 out of 3, but it's still a loss.
Got to get the paper.
But we'll see what happens with this guy. Listen, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not hurting for money. I'm sure he'll get something out of this, but I guess I don't really see what he what was legally wrong here. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more of one of those PR things just to make it go away and settle, and not have this and that, and it is what it is on that one. So
right.
Well, I'm sure we'll have an update later in the week or even in the weeks that come on that one. But the next one we wanted to talk about here, Big Man, before we get to Dave Bliss and Baylor, let's talk about an interesting thing in the sports world today with Dortmund and Monaco heading to the stadium. An explosion goes off on the bus, sending one of the players to the hospital, postponing the game, completely shaking that team all the way up. Interesting how this one's going to turn out, because they're going to have a quick turnaround tomorrow. As they're heading the game, what's going to happen in this one? So definitely an interesting caveat here on that.
Yeah, it's obviously a weird, sad situation as far as what exactly happened here. It's crazy because Mark Bartra actually had to go to surgery, broke his wrist, which, I mean, that's a big thing here. As far as what it all happened here, I don't know. I'm not going to jump to conclusions like a lot of people do. We immediately run and say it's terrorism if it's anything involving a bomb or anything. We don't know if there's a bomb. We don't know what exactly this was. We all know if you watch soccer games on the regular, there are flares, there are all sorts of stuff that go on in the stands. Let's let that play out. But as far as will this affect Dortmund tomorrow, I'm not sure how it doesn't. I mean, if you read some of the quotes coming out of the locker room, visibly in shock, they had no interest in playing a soccer game today. I mean, it's basically 12 hours later. I mean, I'm not sure how, as a professional, you get prepared that quick. I mean, someone possibly was trying to kill you.
It's a crazy story, because I think they said they're about maybe 8 miles from the stadium, wherever they were traveling to, and they heard 3 blasts, and then just as a human being being in that type of situation, like you're gonna have to get on a bus again tomorrow. Wonder what's gonna happen to us. We're gonna make it to the stadium. Just in a weird situation, which I don't think it's getting enough press for what actually happened. I mean, that's a major. Can you imagine Giants on a bus heading to Cleveland? from the hotel and getting hit with a blast. I mean, that would just shake the NFL to its core.
I mean, this quote says it all. The team is totally shocked. That's clear. Our job now is to cope with this somehow. We must plan under 24 hours. That's our job. I mean, listen, it could go two ways. It could go the way of, they're totally shocked and they're just not in the game at all. They're worried about the teammate, blah, 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 blah. Or they say, you know what? We're at home. We're in front of our fans. Let's fucking go crazy today. Let's thank all these fans for being here and show them a great game. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, there are very few stadiums with a better home atmosphere than Borussia Dortmund. It's a fantastic electric atmosphere. You'll see it. It's awesome. I'm under the belief that they will play well probably, but it's hard for me to get interested in betting on this just because I already have the over. I don't really like a side to begin with, but it could be tough. I mean,
yeah, Jeff, how about on a betting perspective there? I know after 24 hours or once the game is off, the tickets become null and void and you have to rebet. You know me, I don't bet soccer, but just being from a betting perspective, has that line changed at all? Or does that change maybe an outlook if you're gambling on one side or the other?
Well, the thing was right after it happened, in the hours after, they took the line off the board. But I haven't looked at the line. My bets are still standing. They haven't taken them off. As far as up to date right now, let's take a look here. I have it right in front of me. Monaco, Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund's minus 173. Monaco's plus 445. It's still plus one. The goals are still 3.5. So not a huge change really. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It's now you get 3 games tomorrow instead of 2, which gotta wonder how we're gonna watch all these games. Keep in mind, first one is a little bit earlier. But yeah, would it make more sense to take Dortmund -1 than over 3.5? I mean, I guess. I don't know. I
like Monaco's offense out there, big man, with your breakdown today.
Yeah, I like listen, I'm going to tell you right now, don't think Monaco's sweet. I think they're going to hang in this game. I think this is like a 2-2 game or something like that. I think it's going to be a draw, to be honest. I think this will be a high-scoring draw. We'll see how it goes. But nonetheless, it'll be a great game and a fun. Finally, let's play a little football instead of worrying about this kind of stuff. I'll be interested to see what happens here, though, and what all happens.
Yeah, what type of mindset comes out? I know they had some pictures from the stadium where obviously the game wasn't too far out from where they were, so fans rallying around and cheering for the team. Obviously, well wishers out there. So I'm going to definitely be interested to see how it's going to go off.
It is fairly odd, and I don't know about you, but it's fairly odd to learn that it was Borussia's bus in their town.
Yes, that's what's weird.
That was kind of odd. I mean, and that's what kind of got me wondering because, I mean, if it was Monaco, I guess I would, maybe they just hate the other team or something. But, I mean, this is the Champions League. Most of these guys, I don't know if they hate each other. I don't think it's on that level. You've seen things like this before. I mean, there's been, some random things like this go on in certain countries, but yeah, it's definitely a scary situation, and hopefully Barger comes back healthy.
Dog Raymond says, big man and Donnie, you guys been to visit Vegas at all? I've been there many times in my life. I know big man's got a trip set up there within the next month or two.
Soon, yep. I'm heading out to see some of my contacts that I made through SBR and stuff like that. I mean, we've talked about gambling legally. I mean, we're looking forward to the day where it's legalized in New Jersey, which we've talked about here. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the future around here with gambling. Who told me to bet the over 12 in Colorado? I think we did. But again,
I was nowhere near that play, man. No,
I think I did. But again, I mean, I have premium plays. Those are the games that I give out that I care about. When you're asking me to break down every game and giving an opinion, I clearly state most of the time, these are leans, these are opinions. Whether you bet them, that's your own business. What book do I use out there? What are you, a Fed? You're asking a lot of questions, dog. I mean, a lot. Let's get to something else. Let's get to this really interesting documentary that, I, to be honest, kind of forgot about. I don't know about you.
Have you watched the documentary?
I have. I watched it on Saturday, and I knew it was coming out. I knew it was. I knew it went on. I remember when it went on, but it's something, like I said, that's kind of been forgotten, I feel like. And I'll first say this. I think it's pretty astounding that Dave Bliss had a job in this country after all that stuff.
How do you stay out of jail? It's
Right.
just a little bit of background on the story. What we're talking about, guys, is Dave Bliss and Baylor back in 2003 with Waco, when they had the teammate killing another teammate, and then the cover up over the next few months was just astounding. Now, they went back into documented. They did a fantastic job of peeling back the layers of exactly what happened and how it went down. Because back in 2003, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was no social media to help, expedite some of these stories. So you just got, the bits and pieces, and especially living in the Northeast when it was a story coming from Texas there where you knew it was bad. Oh, boy, Dave Bliss, what did he do? What a bad guy. But this really peeled back those layers and showed what lengths a coach will go to save his own ass. I'll be give a damn about the kids. Amazing story.
Yeah, just kind of in 30 seconds or less, what happened? A player was killed by a teammate. Bliss was basically giving him money to survive the kid that was killed. He was getting bearing down on by the NCAA. He lied to players and tried to get them to buy into his story that this kid was a drug dealer and all sorts of stuff. And you know what's crazy about this Dave Bliss? Still to this day, he insinuates that Donnie was a drug dealer. He's still a drug dealer,
and everybody knew it, and the police all knew it, but it never came out for some reason.
Yeah, and it's like, to this day, you're still on that stupid fake story. And shout out to the guy that recorded him. Shout out to all that stuff.
Yep.
For him doing that. Listen, it's not so much the part of it being a corrupt program. It's the fact that not only were they corrupt, not only were things going on, but someone was killed on his watch, and he did nothing about it to really prevent it. Donnie came to him and said, look, I'm concerned about this guy, some of these guys. I'm concerned about what's going on. Can you help me? Blah, 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 blah. And Bliss didn't do anything about it, really. And now look, but you wonder, how the hell did he get a job at Southwest Christian University, an NAIA team, which I guess they were giving him a second chance, but
he even had a 10-year show cause from the NCAA, which is like getting the death penalty for a coach, and still was able to get a job.
But how pathetic is it that he still sticks on that same story? Like
first of all, how dumb is he, Jeff, to go on that documentary and ask questions knowing that he was being filmed off camera?
Yeah, but I think
he sounded like a complete moron.
But my question is, why did he resign though from his career now?
I don't think he resigned. He got fired.
Well, why? They knew this. It's not like they didn't know this stuff.
It's the same thing. Like it was buried. He was at this little school. They gave him a job. Maybe they can rehab him. And when stuff like this comes out,
they were interviewed. They were interviewed in the movie.
But nobody's ever proactive in that situation. It's always reactive. Like the film came out, and all of a sudden they're getting phone calls like, "I can't believe he's your coach." And, oh my god, let's let him go.
And I'm sure they gave him a nice severance package to walk out. And Dave Bliss has made enough money to live. But again, in the part of being a human being, Dave Bliss has definitely failed in life. And I'm not gonna buy into that whole "I've found God" crap. It's always convenient when you commit a crime and nothing happens. You found God now, and you're automatically saved. The problem I have, Dave Bliss, is he still maintains that his story is true, and we're all stupid that we don't believe him. That's what's disgusting. He puts on this stupid facade that he's found God and he's doing all these motivational speaking. What about the fact, Dave, that you still think all this stuff? That's the sick thing about it.
How about the family of Donnie too, where like you entrust your son to go there, and then your son gets murdered by another player on the team who you didn't do anything about to step in or like quell the situation. Then he's, burying putting his, son in the ground, and he's getting feedback that says, man, this kid was bad news, drug dealer, and hey, just what happens out there. Are you kidding me, man? If you're the father of that son, like my son is being laid to rest, and you're making stories up that he's dealing drugs and basically got what he deserved.
And it's like he literally had – I'm not sure how that's not conspiracy, like false statements. Like, how's it not conspiracy?
That's what I didn't understand. Like he cut some sort of deal or whatever he cut.
Like he literally –
what kind of deal? Like, yes, you literally set it up. Like you were hindering an actual murder investigation.
He literally went into the locker room and gave them a tape recorder to practice their story. I mean, that's the lengths he went to cover himself.
With the assistant coach, the best part about it was the assistant coach, at first early and on, was literally looking around the room like, is this really happening right now? Like, am I hearing this? I need a recorder. And yes, the best part is he bought tape recorders to practice your story with the kids. Wow.
Yeah, and how about that assistant that did that? And how about the fact that the assistant, did you see what he's doing now and what Dave Bliss is doing now?
Yes, he's actually works in a prison, like rehabilitating, inmates, I believe, or a teacher at a prison.
I feel bad for him because it's like it was his first big job at Baylor, and he was like kind of an up and comer kind of guy, and
put yourself in that position. Like, you finally get the job of your dreams. Jeff, he wasn't even there you could say he was there 3 years. He was there for like a couple of weeks, and he's in the middle of a murder investigation, being told to lie, and has a contract on his desk specifically put there overnight that says, you do anything I don't want you to do, I will fire you immediately. What a bad break he got. And I'm sure he actually got broken off from Baylor directly for, whatever he had to put up with. So good for him.
I also will say that Carlton Dodson I think he got 20 years or something. I mean, I think he got off pretty easy in that case. I mean, he'll be out. And
he's up if he's not up already, he's up pretty soon.
He's up for parole in 2021, which I mean, you still have 4 or 5 years. He's not going to get out in his first try. I mean, you look at that now, and you know what's fun? Not funny, but interesting. He claimed that he was insane the whole time.
Yeah.
So you were sane.
The lawyer said he was insane too.
So you were sane enough to play basketball. You were sane enough to go to university. You were sane enough to do everything. But as soon as you kill someone, now you're a nut job, and you talk to yourself, and also
you read scriptures out of nowhere, and talk to your mom and stuff. Yeah, no, I hear exactly where you're coming from.
ESPN never reports payoffs from programs. ESPN, like Calipari, everyone in Chicago knows payoffs went to Rose and Davis's family. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you're going to be hard pressed to find a program that doesn't pay their students in some sort of way. And not for nothing.
They smacked him on the wrist though, made him take down the Final Four banner in Memphis.
Okay, let me ask you this: do you think that's illegal, Donnie?
What's that?
Do you think it's wrong that they give their players some sort of money down low?
I mean, I know it goes on, but I mean,
what's wrong with it?
Like, the one thing with me, the one angle I will never believe in: college kids should never be paid. Never be paid.
Why? They're the only reason they're making so much money.
But here's the caveat on that. There's so many things and layers that go into it. Oh my God, they're being exploited. They're being exploited. Number one, if you're being exploited, you don't have to go to college.
Right.
Sign an agent right out of high school. Go ball overseas. Have fun with your boys. And smoke it up. Drink some Hennessy. Party with all the fellas. Get all the girls you want, and enter the NBA draft the following year. You do the same thing with football. I'm being exploited. I can't believe this. Don't go to school. Or you know what? Even better, go Division III. Work at the gas station because you want some money, and play football just because you love it. It's great. There's so many ways that you can do it.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And it's. You think Mike Smith, who's studying engineering, does he get a free ride because he's I hear you, but at the end of the day, I mean, they should get something. I mean, they're going to school to make all sorts of money for your school and program and all sorts of stuff. By the way, quickly, a point on a little bit of basketball.
Yes.
I would highly recommend betting Kansas to win the national championship next year, and Arizona. Kansas is getting everyone, it seems like. I know there's Lawson kids. They're both going to Kansas. They transferred out from Memphis. Kansas is going to be good next year. I'll tell you that right now. But where are we going next, Donnie? You want to go through a couple questions here and then do a little five in the Big
how about
Man?
this? Yeah, we will. How about this? A 3-run blast in the ninth for Cincinnati to go up 6-2 on Pittsburgh. Break up that team, huh? Man.
Yeah, they don't seem to ever win. I don't know what's up with that. But Donnie, let's have some fun here. I'm going to ask you some questions, get to know
go ahead,
right side a little bit.
Sure.
I'll gladly chime in. You can all chime in as well. Donnie, what's a sport you like, maybe don't know much about, but you're kind of intrigued and you want to know more about?
A sport that I would be intrigued about, that I want to know a little bit more about. Let me see what we can do on that. I actually would probably be lacrosse.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Why is that?
When I was in high school, we didn't have lacrosse, and I know it's burgeoning, especially in the Northeast there. I know a couple people who have played lacrosse. I watch it usually when the Final Four, the lacrosse Final Four comes on. It's kind of interesting to me. I don't, I'm pretty well versed in most sports, but that's one I could see maybe, getting to know a little bit more, because it seems like as more of these sports come down the line, that one might be the wave of the future.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, I remember we had we had lacrosse, and it's definitely a tough sport. I mean, as far as you got to be tough to play lacrosse.
Yep, sure.
For me, I would probably say, I guess I want to see the light with golf. I just don't know where it is. But I feel like I have a pretty good. I watch every sport. Like I'll sit here and watch. I could sit here and watch surfing forever. Like I think that's really cool. Like how they surf all those big waves and stuff. Like I think that's Donnie. Would you believe when I was younger I surfed? Would you believe that?
I would believe that. Shore house. I mean,
When I was really,
you probably spending your summers down the shore.
When I was super young, I surfed. I was like 8 or 9 probably, but I don't go in the ocean anymore, so I can't surf. Donnie, what's your go-to hot or cold hoagie? Like what hoagie specifically?
In what way? Like what type of sandwich?
I only like tennis if Serena Williams is playing. Yeah, like hoagie. Like what, if you could pick one hoagie to eat, what would it be?
Like, and it's like it would ease a cold hoagie would by far be an Italian.
Out of a cold, hot, whatever, anything.
Oh no, to me honestly, like I'm a little bit on the fringe. Like I'm a huge cheesesteak hoagie guy. Huge.
Cheesesteak hoagie. So you don't
That would be my go-to. Yes.
So you put vegetables on your steak?
Lettuce, tomato, and onion on my cheesesteak.
I think that's a violation, dude.
No, absolutely not. Cheesesteak hoagie. Come on, bring it on.
Nah, dude, come on. You got to get fried onions, and that's it.
With
little salt, pepper, ketchup. That's it.
No, come on, man. I'm cheesesteak hoagie. It would be my go-to sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, in Philly, I think, but all right. Do you bet WNBA? Yes, I do bet WNBA. I actually.
It's coming up. Hey, when does that season start? That'll be coming soon, right?
I'm actually well known in Philadelphia sports radio for giving out WNBA live on the air.
Yes, the people in Vegas. You're correct.
Yes, correct. It comes. I don't know when it starts. I think June, maybe.
I don't know. I have no idea. No.
Donnie,
yes.
You're getting executed tomorrow night. What's your last meal?
To be my last meal will be one of two things. I'm a huge.
Here's the thing: you get an entree, a side, a dessert, and a drink. What are you eating?
I mean, the entree. Just growing up the whole time, it would probably be a surf and turf, like a real good piece of meat. Maybe give me the lobster tail, and then I'm going to go all that way. If I can't take that high end road.
You can have
damn good pizza.
Okay, pizza. Mm-hmm. Why not? Right, it's your last meal. Fuck it, I'll have a nice good pizza.
Oh man, I would love it too. I would go for pizza.
I would probably go with. That's tough.
I'm a huge steak guy, but if it's just yeoman's work there, as we like to say, my wife tells me Metagon. Give me the pizza, man.
Yeah, I would go. Not for nothing, I would probably go with a steak. Philly steak with boardwalk fries.
Yes.
A Coca-Cola.
It's going out the way he came in.
Yeah, Coca-Cola and maybe I don't know, whoopie pie or something. You ever have a whoopie pie?
Is that like a moon pie?
Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
It's Amish.
Yep. No, you're right. Yeah, it is Amish. You're right. Yep.
We got people pushing pizzerias here on the chat box.
Damn, right. Yeah, King Crab. Matthew with King Crab Legs. I'm all about that. I would go seafood steak right down to some fresh shrimp cocktail. Come on, man.
I can only eat seafood at the shore. Like I couldn't eat it like right now. I can't. I have to like be near water to eat it. Like I don't know.
Sitting
I feel
on
like
the dock.
Yeah, or like on my porch, like drinking a little beer, man.
I hear you. Yeah,
I don't drink too much, but when I gonna eat seafood, I do. Donnie, you get $50 million tomorrow. Where are you moving?
$50 million tomorrow. There's two. If you ask me, it would be an island. I would absolutely love to go to Hawaii, but if we're keeping it in the continental United States, I've always had a sweet spot. Been here multiple times. Give me a property on Star Island. I don't even know if the $50 million can even get me a property on Star Island.
You don't even have to. It can be anywhere in the world. Where are you going?
Yeah, it would be some remote area of one of the Hawaiian Islands. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Sicily, probably, on the ocean somewhere, on the Mediterranean, probably, or Malta.
Maybe the Maldives.
Yeah, Malta, or maybe even like a Monaco looks sweet. I mean, that's always somewhere I kind of want to live also. But I'll tell you what, in my long-term plans, I fully intend to move over there somewhere. I want a simpler life. You know, I want to get away from the monotony, and I'll do shows from the Sicilian countryside, you know.
Yeah, Terrell brings up with St. Bart's. Correct me if I'm wrong, Terrell. Is there is there two sides to St. Bart's? There's like a Dutch side, I believe, and then the other side something else? Or am I thinking that might be like St. Thomas or something like that? One of those islands down there in the Virgin Islands is like split like right in half there.
Yeah, St. Bart's.
I love the Virgin Islands. I love it. I do love the Virgin Islands.
I think it's French St. Bart's, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Caribbean to me, it's just, it's too beachy. I want a little bit of, I want to be able to I want to be around the soccer stuff too. So for me, Italy's kind of the best of everything. But yeah, no, I hear you. So in the United States, where did you say?
United States, I would go to Miami and live on Star Island.
All right, not bad.
I love South Beach. My favorite place. One of my favorite places.
And the final one, Donnie. It could be when you were growing up. It could be now. Who is your go-to celebrity crush? Do you have one?
Go-to celebrity crush?
Yeah, it could be now.
Now, growing up,
all time.
Like my idea of a woman, and this was, mid-'90s when she was good to go, was Pam Anderson. Was always my go-to crush. Oh, yeah. Always had the calendar up. And following right behind her was, Big Man, you probably know about it, was Carmen Electra.
Oh, sure.
Both of those were my go-tos growing up.
Yeah, Pam Anderson. I remember my dad when we were, I don't know about, because when I was growing up, like, she was really big as far as when I was younger. And I remember my dad loved Pam Anderson. I remember my mom one time bought him because we have a pool. They have a pool. And I remember she brought home this fucking raft and it had Pam Anderson on it. And I'll never forget that. But yeah, my dad loved Pam Anderson too. So I could see that. And I do see it, definitely. Damn, I love Pam Anderson until my dad told me she had hepatitis.
Yeah, hey, I mean, what are you going to do? But back then we didn't know any of that. And this was, I remember it being, I was, in high school when she married, after like meeting him for 2 days was, what's the drummer's name? Tommy Lee. Devastating. Yeah. I was like, can't even believe it, man. Thought I had a show.
I have two, and many, well, I actually have many, but these are my main ones. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about it. When I was growing up, like I always thought she was so dope, like as far, and then 50 Cent got her and I'm like, yo, like, she must be into younger guys, blah, blah, blah. Vivica Fox, I always thought was so hot.
Yeah, like, she was. You're right. No, you're right about that.
Always dressed like sexy as hell. But as far as all time, I mean, Nicki Minaj for me is way up there. I mean, honestly, look at Nicki Minaj and tell me she's not one of the dopest girls you've ever seen. Like she's
put together. She got a lot of plastic, but again, I don't hold any grudges against the plastic. I do not. Like, I'm not one of these guys.
Yeah, me either. She's just so hot. I mean, Kim's always a legend too. I mean, I know she's kind of a slob.
Getting up there now, yeah.
I mean, Kim is hot, dude. But yeah, there's plenty of beautiful and Janet Jackson. That's a good one. She's getting quite the payday from her little.
Yeah, what was that about? What, a half a billion? Something like that.
And those Saudis, they can. I think
good
it's
business arrangement by her, huh?
They can afford it. So yeah,
yeah. The French. There you go. The French Prince girls. Ashley were hot too. Yeah. What was her name anyway? Her name in real life. The Tatiana Ali, maybe.
I have no idea. I think Will Smith is one of the more overrated actors ever. So I don't.
Big Will was good. Big Will was good when he was first out, but now, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's. If you hear him and his wife talk now, they're a little bit loopy, and I don't know. I guess same thing with Tom Cruise. When you're in Hollywood for that long, you just make your own alternate reality, I guess. I don't know.
That's a good point by CC. I agree with you. There's something hot about Remy Ma just because she's like street and like gutter and like she's tough. Like I agree with it. She did that bid like a real chick would, a ride or die chick would, and she's extremely ride or die. I agree with that. Remy Ma was always kind of hot to me for doing that stuff. But let's get to Baffle the Big Man, and then we'll jump on out of here.
You got it. Let's see what we got tonight on the chat board. We will go right to Twitter and see what we have here. All right, this one is actually a hashtag LNOC. Not really a question to baffle, but more of a knowledge for him to help him out. Let's see if you can help him out here, big man. Battle of two evils. betting first 5 or full game when you like the pitching matchup? Question mark. Is it as simple to bet first 5 when the betting team with a bad bullpen? Basically what he's asking you, big man, I guess, is it easier to bet first 5 if the team has a bad bullpen or vice versa, or is there any type of value in that situation?
I mean,
from
look,
Yankees guy.
Okay. Well, look, I mean, I'm going to look to a game normally to bet at full game. That's just the way I think. Yeah. But if I have a team that I have a strong starting pitcher, I have a pretty good lineup, and I know that I just don't – because I write it down. I have bullpens that I just won't bet on. I'm definitely taking first 5. But here's the problem. I mean, a lot of the time you're going to have to lay the half a run anyway. So, yeah, I mean, look, bullpen-wise, I'm not laying full game normally. I'm going to look to maybe a team total or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, if you're having a bullpen, most of your losses are going to come from bullpens. And if you have a bad one, the problem is it's so hard because any bullpen at any time can look bad. I mean, you know, the Reds have looked fantastic in the bullpen. So it's like you never really know. But for me, I guess the question is, do I go with when I have a good pitcher, starting pitcher, do I have first 5? Yes, normally. Or I'll look to a different way of betting full game, like a team total or something like that.
All right, next one up. Michael, Barca fan, 765, hashtag LNOC. Who scored the penalty goals in Italy's World Cup win over Germany? Hint, there were 5.
The greatest team ever, the team that got me really interested in soccer. I was in high school. My best run-up was from Sicily.
Big man, before you break that up, was this the World Cup where
that Italy won?
Zinedine Zidane was headbutting people, or no? Another one?
Yeah, and it's interesting. A little backdrop for that from that World Cup. He headbutted Marco Materazzi. Materazzi scored a goal right after Zidane scored, so it was 1-1. Materazzi gets Zidane sent off. The 5 people that scored goals were Pirlo, De Rossi, Del Piero, Grosso, and who was the last one? Materazzi.
Let me check. I'm going to go.
Del Piero.
I'm going to go to the tape right here on this one.
Del Piero, De Rossi, Grosso, Materazzi, and Pirlo. That was just an amazing team. The team that got me into football, really.
Yeah, Del Piero, De Rossi, Pirlo, Materazzi, and Grosso. Very good, big man.
Grosso was the kid that scored the goal to win it, I remember. I always remember Fabio Grosso after that. And the crazy thing about that, one of the only players that still actively plays football is Buffon, who's still on Juventus, still on the national team, 40 years old at this point. So,
big man, by the way, with the World Cup, I mean, I know you watch it, you know, the world basically stops every 4 years for that. Even, you know, sports fans like myself who aren't really interested in soccer, I like the magnitude of those type of things. How about having a penalty kick deciding the World Cup? Fair or foul on that end of it?
The penalties decide the World Cup?
Yeah.
You know, I've always said this. I don't like rules being changed. That's just soccer, man. That's just how it goes. You know, it's kind of a mind game because it's like, Donnie, I could say the same thing to you about hockey. You know, why do they have, you know, I know in playoffs they don't do that, but
yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
What I mean on that, like the biggest stage. Like I would love them just to say, you know what, we're going to run another 30 minutes here and, you know, play it the way it out. It's just hard because I don't know.
They do give plenty of time, though. I mean, they give plenty of time. I mean, there's
no, they do. You're right, they do. Is there 2 15-minute overtimes or whatever it is on top of the extra time?
What is it? It's 91. It's 90, 105. Yeah, 20. Yeah, so 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just the point. I mean, that's how it goes. By the way, someone in the chat box is asking, where did Scottie Pippen go to college? Just trying to think here. I think it's
tiny ass school, like in
Central
Oregon,
Arkansas, I believe.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, Oregon.
You can really stump. You want to stump? I'm going to stump Donnie right now. Let me see if I can stump Donnie.
You can probably stump me.
In the Super Bowl for the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Who scored touchdowns for the Eagles?
Brian Westbrook, L.J. Smith, and one Greg Lewis.
Great job.
Yeah, I remember that like
Thoughts
it
on
was
the
yesterday.
bombings for the Dortmund Monaco game? Yeah, Cade, we talked about that around into the show. Towards the end, it was right before we got to the.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like if that like who would like. It's just a sick world out there because I can't imagine my favorite sports team in my own hometown if it turns out that it's like a terroristic or just some wing nut job is trying to bomb. I mean, what is wrong with people, man? Jesus.
Yeah, I mean it. I don't know though. With the terrorism stuff, it normally comes out very quickly that it was. It's. I mean,
Somebody takes credit for it right away.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
I
it's
agree.
been a pretty. I mean, it's been what? I mean, 9, 10 hours since that happened. I feel like it is the middle of the night there, but yeah, definitely a tough situation there, and we'll see what happens. What's next, Donnie?
Hashtag LNOC players in colleges. I always like these.
Yeah,
Steve Blake, where did he go?
Stevie Blake,
Yep,
Maryland.
absolutely. Ronnie Turieff, or as some people like to say, Roni.
Gonzaga.
There you go. Thad Young, very Sixerish.
One of the better Sixers in the last 10
Yeah.
years that I don't really know why they get rid of him.
Decent draft pick by Billy King. Yeah.
Shaw Tech.
Yep. And the last one, Razul Butler.
Ooh, Philly guy. LaSalle.
Yeah. Yep. Damn right.
Rasul Butler. How about that?
Hashtag LNOC. Here's one right up your alley here. Where was the Prophet Muhammad born and where did he die? Also, another question. What is Or go ahead. Answer that first one. I thought that was
he was born in Mecca and he died in Medina. That's why the pilgrimage for every good Muslim is to go on those pilgrimages and fulfill your duty as a Muslim.
Mm-hmm. Next one, another question. What is EID, or I guess Eid al-Fitr, F-I-T-R? I don't even know.
Eid al-Fitr. It's basically marks the end of Ramadan. It ceases the fast that you have, and it marks the end of Ramadan.
Next one up here, hashtag LNOC. Name the 5 major New York mafia families.
We go from the Quran to that.
Hey, there, same guy. He's well-rounded.
The Bonanno, Gambino, Lucchese, Colombo, and Gambino, Lucchese, Genovese.
The Genovese crime family. Hashtag LNOC. According to Islam, there are 4 divine texts. Name each of them and the prophet they were revealed to. CC studies his
He's a Muslim. The Taurat, which is revealed to Musa, the Quran, which was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, the Zabur, who was revealed to Dawood, and what was the third? What was the fourth one? I think the Injil revealed to Jesus.
Yeah, like I'm Christian and Catholic, and I would not know. I barely know where like Jesus came from. So, go. Here's a good one. You have to get this one. Hashtag LNOC. Classic movie quote. Who said it? Name the movie. You have to rob and steal to get rich in the Reagan era.
New Jack City.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you didn't know it, I would have just started ripping off other stuff, like the Carter and good old stuff like that. Pookie.
Yeah, no, he always has good movie references. I'll give him that.
He does. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
He always is a guy that Brian Tanzi, I think, is another one. He always has good questions. Do we have any more?
Yep. Oh, hold on. I'm glad you actually said that because I don't think he might have posted on there, but may have, or maybe that was last night. Let's see what we got here. No, that was from the last night there. So that will wrap up this version of Baffle the Big Man on Late Night Off Campus.
Always
anything
fun.
else for us, Big Man, before tonight after an hour and 15 minutes on the late night shift?
Let's take a look at what we have going on in the big boy leagues tonight. The Major League Baseball.
Yeah, my public fade is getting trashed on right now with Texas up 5-0 on the Angels. So I'm going to lose a little bit of cigar money for tomorrow.
Tyler Skaggs, your boy. Houston and Seattle. Houston, Seattle tied at 2 up at Safeco Field. What do we had going on in that game? Some home runs? No. Mitch Haniger with a double. Robbie Cano with a single.
Look at that, Robbie Ray up 3-0 over Samardzija, Jeff. You were digging a little Samardzija action early today.
I was. Yeah, and a lot of the leans I gave out.
Dude, Jeff, I cannot wait until May. As most of you know in the chat box, I mess around. Like, again, I have a small play tonight on LA, which looks like it's up in flames there. But again, not too much damage, just something to have fun with. I trust you out there, folks. Give me and the big man 1 month through April, and we will unleash some gems for you all throughout the summer, and we will have a damn lot of fun. Right now, we're just passing the time, having some fun, going over games, giving some leans, some thoughts. We will pay it off once May comes, my man.
Yeah, I mean, we got a long summer. We got a lot. I'll bring you live from the Shore House, and we might even do a show together, Donnie and I, at some point.
Yes, we are making that happen. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're back
If
tomorrow.
I have to fly out to Vegas for a night when you go out there, I'll fly out. We'll do a show in Vegas.
Nah, I'll come down. I'll come to the man cave you got there. We got tomorrow. Look out for the roundtable. We'll be doing that at 12:30 Eastern. We'll be on with Drew Martin and Ian Cameron and SBR, everybody over there. And then we'll have the show tomorrow night, late night on campus, 10 o'clock. Just remember, guys, Thursdays, we're not on the air. And it's interesting, Donnie, because I actually have to head down to the Shore on Thursday. So
what you got down there, big man? What are you doing? Checking out the house?
Yeah, I got to head down there for something for my dad, and he wants me to go by the house. And I haven't been down there in a while, so it's a lay of the land, really. You guys can stay at my mansion when you come to Vegas.
Let's do it, Rich. Come on, we're coming. We're coming.
How about that? Rich Banks with a mansion. How about that? Other than that, Donnie, I think we are good to go. Anything else tonight before we jump off the air here?
Yep. Tomorrow for me and you again, we'll be on state also with Late Night at Campus, late at night. Send your question in. Follow there at SBR Sportsbook Review. If you like us there, subscribe to it. Yeah, go ahead, big man.
I meant to ask you, how about that moron Sean Spicer, again, with a ridiculous remark today?
I don't know. You have to be so fast on your feet at that job.
And
you have to be on target.
Right.
No, I mean, I hate to talk like politics and get into sides, but you have to be smarter than that.
I don't care if you support Donald Trump or don't. Sean Spicer is a snot of the first magnitude. I mean, we all know that. Last question, Donnie, before we go. That glass bottom pool, you've seen that, right?
Can't do it. You're talking to a guy who gets nervous on like the second floor of buildings.
Yeah, I don't find that enticing whatsoever.
And how do they get the bottom of the pool so damn clear? Like, you're going to walk out there and put your, I can't, I struggle, as I said again, with second floor, like looking over something. I can't even imagine that. I can't do it.
By the way, funny interview. You know who I want to interview on here? I'd love to get on here. Have you ever seen Bar Rescue?
Mm-hmm.
I want to get that
Taffer,
guy.
whatever his name is.
I love that guy, John Taffer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That guy's classic. I'd love to get him on here sometime. We got to start getting some big guests on here.
No, we will. We're going to grow. But anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight at SBR Sports Pick. Give him a follow, sbrodds.com as usual. He's the big man. I'm Donnie Right. We'll check you guys out tomorrow. Take care.